Good morning. I'm Marie May from Addison Township Senior Center,
And I'm Dawn Medici with Oxford Township Parks and Recreation.
and today our special guest is Ben, I want to say this right, Kargetta.
That's
And
right.
he's from Youth Assistance. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome,
Thank you
Ben.
for having me.
Lots of questions for you today.
Yeah.
First, can you tell us a little something about yourself?
So, my family moved out here in 1964. My folks wanted to raise us in the country, and Oxford used to be the country. Now it's a beautiful, growing community. And I've been part of Oxford through my education and then moved just down the road to Independence Township with my wife Ann to be close to family. And we just love it out here. And I recently retired, and I was trying to figure out what am I going to do for my next chapter.
All right.
And so my friend Amanda Kavanaugh is the secretary for youth assistance over at the middle school, and she suggested that I come to the annual awards event that they have for the kids.
Okay.
And what a beautiful event that was. I went last year, and I didn't really know very many people, but I met a lot of great people along the way, and seeing the kids being rewarded for their kind deeds and their accomplishments was just a wonderful thing. And I left there thinking, boy, I need to work with kids again.
Yeah.
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 Gave you a good feeling.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you worked with kids prior?
So over my lifetime, I have volunteered. I've been with Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
All right.
I also worked at volunteered for a program in Pontiac, the Baldwin Center,
Okay.
which had a great youth program, after school program. Really enjoyed that. And then it was caretaking for elderly family members after that. So,
Yeah.
we all go through these stages in
Right.
our life,
Yeah.
right? Where we have
Yeah.
different things we have to do. And so for me, that took precedent for about 10 years and just wanted to get back in with kids.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Very good. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the Oxford Addison Youth Association?
Yes, so Youth Assistance has a lot of different programs. They've got outreach programs. They've got Shop with a Hero, which they pair up, right? And you guys have heard of that,
Yeah.
right? So you've got your local police and fire department coming out and shopping with kids to help support their families at Christmas time and get to pick out some fun gifts.
Yeah. Always. And
yeah.
always a great event.
Yes, and everybody loves that. Unfortunately, I missed it this year. I caught a cold.
Oh, no.
But that's the way it goes when you're working with kids. You catch a lot of colds.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But so they have a lot of great programs. I particularly enjoyed that rec dinner. That was really great. And we honored 60 some students last year, close to 50 this year. So, yeah, we've got a lot of people doing really great things in the community.
Oh, that's good. And how do people find out about these things that you're doing?
Well,
And when they're happening? Is there a schedule or?
yeah, so I think Youth Assistance has a pretty good Facebook page. I'm not on social media, so I
Okay.
don't follow it. I get
Okay.
the scuttle from everybody. But yeah, it's been out. Youth Assistance has been in the Oxford area and Oakland County since the 1950s, court mandated, helping kids that were falling through the cracks. And I think it started out as a way to help youth that found themselves in trouble, maybe,
Okay.
having a difficult
Right.
time. But I notice now that, well, since Stacy Williams is a caseworker at the middle school, and she is on the board of youth assistance, and I see youth assistance turning into more of a hands up kind of a thing, like let's do some fun things in the community, let kids know that they're supported,
Right.
let families know that they're supported,
A
right?
helping hand.
A helping hand. I mean, Youth Assistance has a wonderful program where you can donate money to send kids to camp or get them on a team that maybe their family couldn't afford. Things are so expensive right now.
Is that like a scholarship program?
It is a scholarship program. And so it reaches out to a lot of kids at, kindergarten through
Right.
senior.
So are kids' names recommended to you, or do kids go to you? How does that work? How do they get involved in it?
Well, I feel like for the most part, the schools are really the avenue,
Okay,
right?
so they let you know.
Yeah, so the caseworkers know who their students are, right? They get to know the families in the community, and they get a pretty good feel for what people might need, and I'm sure that they give recommendations from there. But you could go to our website and find out all the great programs that we have.
Yeah.
So then you get the name from the school, and then the organization um, approaches them and says,
Yeah,
how can we
reaches out.
help you?
Sure.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It is a great program. I know through Parks and Recreation, we've participated in the scholarship program where we've been able to work together with youth assistants to provide funds so that children could participate in our Parks and Recreation program, and that's worked really well.
Right.
It's a great benefit.
So when you have a name of someone, do you just work with them for that day, or are they like, are they assigned somebody that works with them? How do you stay connected to the youth you're helping?
Well, so
person.
the programs are different, right? So a lot of the programs, like the scholarship program, for instance, right? A parent may check their bills that month and say, "Oh, geez, I really don't have enough money for a junior to go play soccer,
Okay.
right?
Right.
At Parks and Rec, and where could I get help for that, right? So there are those things that you can go online and fill out a form, and if you qualify,
Okay.
that
Right. Then
Okay.
they'll provide that service or those needs. So we've mentioned the website a couple of times. It's oxfordaddisonya.org. So please be sure to check out their website to see all of the programs that
Available, yeah.
available
really nice.
to the youth in our community. Now, there isn't always just programs for youth. There's actually a program that you're involved in that involves adults
absolutely.
working with the children, and I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about that. So that's called the
Wildcat
Cub
Cub
Club, right?
That's right.
Right.
And our motto is making a difference, one cub connection at a time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really nice.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what is the Wildcat Cub Club?
Well, the Wildcat Cub Club is just an awesome group. And we started out, Stacy Williams brought this from an idea and a program that they had in Waterford when she worked in Waterford. Stacy's been with the Oxford community now for about 3 years. So she is just a spitfire. This gal, she's amazing. She knows how to get things done in an efficient way, and she's just really good at what she does, and she's a great motivator. So, I had been thinking, going to that awards event last year, I'd been thinking, boy, I really wanted to work with youth, right? And my friends kept saying, well, just put it out in the universe. It'll happen, right?
Right,
It's nice to
yeah,
have
it
hippie
is.
friends, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I kept thinking about it. I kept putting it out there, and Stacy decided that she was going to start this program, our pilot year, and she called me and said, "Would you like to chair it?" And I'm like, "That would be wonderful."
Yes.
Now, remind you, I am probably the least qualified volunteer in the bunch. Our volunteers are amazing. So what we do with Cub Club is we team up what I thought was going to be a senior citizen, right, with a grade school age kid. So we started out, Jeff Brown at Oxford Elementary was so kind to let us start at his school. And so we started out in his school, they're a 3rd through 5th grade. Okay, so technically Cub Club works with kindergartners through 5th grade. So we're just in the grade school. And our volunteers meet with the student once a week, and we basically try to teach them how to maybe better communication skills if they're lacking a little bit there, or interpersonal skills. And we do that through a lot of play, to be honest with you. We're enjoying games and arts and crafts and talking to each other, getting to know one another.
Right.
So when we started this group, we started out with 7 volunteers. Now, Stacy and I, when we were actually interviewing these volunteers, we couldn't wipe the smiles off of our faces. I mean, the men and women that came in to volunteer for this program are amazing. They're overqualified. I used to say we have 150 years of experience working with children in this group. Now I have to bump it up to over 200 because we were so successful at Oxford Elementary, and Jeff put the word out there for us, that Mrs. Nemi, Stephanie over at Clear Lake, asked us to join at their school too. So now we have 14 volunteers in 2 schools.
Yeah.
This fall, we imagine we'll be in all 5 schools.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to stop you here, and we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, I want to hear about how it's expanding.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
all right, so we'll be right back.
When a crisis hits, close to home and across the globe, nonprofits are on the front lines, ready to serve.
Keep coming.
The demand for charitable services has skyrocketed, and nonprofits are rising to meet the needs. Healing, nurturing, rescuing, honoring, protecting, caring, inspiring. The work of philanthropic organizations of all sizes, across all missions, has never been more important. And it's donors and volunteers like you who make all this possible. Thank you. Together, we change the world. The Nonprofit Alliance.
Welcome back to Senior Break. And before break, Ben was telling us about how they started at one elementary school, how it's expanded to another elementary school, and how the number of volunteers have increased. And now
seniors. Senior volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how it's going to, how you're moving forward, and that it's going to expand going forward. So tell us a little bit more about all of that.
Sure. So again, my assumption was it was going to be seniors, right? Well, we just interviewed a volunteer the other day in her mid-20s who is joining our group. We have volunteers who are currently still working their jobs. We have one guy that coaches his 4th grade son's basketball and still has time to volunteer at the school. Wow. So basically what we do is we go in once a week and spend time with the kids, and then we follow them through the school year.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you're probably wondering, how do we get these students? Well, we feel like, who knows the kid best besides the parents? The schools, right? Mm-hmm. So they've done a great job at identifying which kids could really use a connection. Oh. And our seniors are, well, I shouldn't say seniors anymore. Right. We're not just seniors. Our volunteers, our mentors are just really loving the connection that they've made with these kids.
So they're assigned one kid, and they follow that kid, the same kid, through the whole year.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, since your pilot year, are those volunteers still on board now your 2nd year? And if so, the students that they connected with in the pilot year, are they still connected with them the next school year?
Yes, and that's our hope. Our hope is that these connections that we've made can run through the 5th grade year, and then we'll send them off to middle school and wish them the best of luck, and hope that when they get there, they're ready and feel a little more self-confident.
And then at that time, the volunteer would have an opportunity to start over again.
That's right.
With another student and work their way through.
That's true.
That is amazing, because look at that bond and that relationship a volunteer has with a student, and the difference that the student is making in the volunteer's life, and vice versa.
That's
it's not
the thing.
just the volunteer making a difference, it's also, I'm sure the student is also impacting the volunteer in some way.
It's very symbiotic, and we are just loving our students. And I have to tell you that we did photos. So we did a photo with the mentor and the mentee side by side. And I printed those out the other day to give, we had little frames, and we had the kids and the mentors all decorate their frames for a little keepsake. And when I printed those out the other day, I started looking at them, and I couldn't believe how many photos these people actually look like they're related.
Oh,
I mean, it's funny.
It is.
You know, but
Yeah.
you can tell they feel comfortable with one another. That
Right.
yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
It's very sweet.
So when someone volunteers, how much time that day do they spend with the student?
So what we do is we try to utilize what's referred to in the Oxford school system as win time. Okay, so win time would be non-instructional time. Okay, and so in my case, a lot of times my students are coming from art or music, and we'll pull them out of those classes and spend anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes. And believe me, that time goes by so quickly.
Yes, I
Right.
can-
And you know, we try to find things that the kids enjoy doing, and as we get to know our student throughout the year, right, we can figure out kind of like what they would really enjoy and try to give them different activities.
Sure.
So it happens during the school time?
It
It's not like
does.
after school
That's right.
or before school?
That is so great to hear, and that the schools are, they buy in this program and they see the value in it and understand the value, that they're willing to work with Oxford Addison Youth Association and Cub Club to provide this service. I think that's amazing.
And I
It
would
is.
imagine the student gets to really look forward to it because they're gonna bond with that person.
Oh,
And it's not a parent, so they can say more to them, than they normally would, so.
Right.
it's so much fun. We have one volunteer that has to brace herself because she knows that her student's going to come running from across the room to give her a big hug, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, these bonds really mean a lot to us. Now, as volunteers, we are going into the school. I haven't been in a school in 40 years,
Yeah.
right? It's a little nerve-wracking for me. I was wondering, geez, how am I going to navigate this?
Right.
But Katie and Caitlin at OES have made me feel so comfortable. We go in, we get our badges, we've got our bag of goodies, and we take to the kids, and it's just a wonderful experience.
Okay. So,
It's one, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
it's only one child per person?
So,
Is that it?
well, that's what we thought, and now we've got a few volunteers that are saying, "Boy, I could take 2 students. I'd like to take 2 students," and that's what I did this year. I've got a 3rd grader and a 5th grader, so I've got a 5th grader I'm going to be saying goodbye to this year.
And that's at the same time you see them, or?
Different
separate
times.
Okay,
Different times. One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
okay,
And they're just a lot of fun.
yeah.
wow, that's so cool. So I heard you say you come in, you get your name badge, and you got your bag of goodies. So what is in this bag of goodies?
So the bag of goodies, depending on your student, includes paints, scissors, construction paper, coloring books, you name it, games. My 5th grader likes to beat me at chess. My 3rd grader likes to beat me at memory match. He's a pretty good battleship player too. So
Okay.
yeah, whatever our students really like.
Right.
Okay, so you just bring in the games that they like.
Yeah, Youth Assistance has a whole cupboard full of games and activities
For you to,
for us to use.
that's great.
Yeah, that's really good.
And so how long does it take in the beginning of this process to figure out what it is that the student likes to do? Like is it hard that the first time that you meet and get together just to try to get them comfortable with you and you comfortable with them and try to figure out how is this gonna work? What's the next 6 or 8 months gonna look like?
Right. So for me, I was in school. The school on Pontiac Street, that's now OES, used to be my high school.
Okay.
Right. So I walked in and I was a little apprehensive. Right. You're walking into your old high school. You haven't been there in 40 plus years. Right. So it's like, yeah, it's a little unnerving. But they gave us a really nice pamphlet on ideas. And one of the ideas on there was have your student give you a tour of the school. So I thought, for me, that was perfect.
Yeah.
So that was the idea that I clung to. Now, trust me, there's 50 some ideas in there, right? We've got one per week, basically.
And did Oxford Addison Youth Association give you those
Yes.
starters, or did the school also recommend?
So again, Stacy brought this program from a program
right,
that
okay.
she worked for in Waterford, right? So she was able to grab a lot of information off the internet, of course, and from what they were doing prior.
Sure.
So yeah, it just there's a lot of mentoring programs around the country, so we try to glean what we can from those.
Sure.
But so back to your question about how do you start? How do you get to know this person, right? So I let each of my students give me a tour of their school. So now it's their school. It's no longer my school. And I see it through their eyes.
Right.
Right. And it also empowered them to be able to talk to me. Right. And put them in charge, because who knows better about their school than they do.
Right.
Right. So that's what worked for me. But trust me, all of our volunteers have come up with great ideas.
Yeah.
How to get to know their students and connect with them.
That's awesome. All right, so it looks like we need to take another break. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about your interaction with the student. And we'll also then talk about if you want to volunteer or learn more about the program,
How to get involved.
how to get involved. Ben, you can share that information
Sure.
with everybody. All right, so we'll be right back.
Okay, we're back speaking with Ben today, and such good ideas about youth assistant programs. And Ben, I was wondering, once you get involved, I need to know first how to get involved. Who do we contact? Who do we call? And how we actually get involved with the schools.
So youth assistance number,
248-460-7011.
thank you, Donna. I
Yeah,
didn't
you're
bring my
welcome.
glasses
That's
today.
okay.
You can call that number and speak with Amanda Kavanaugh. She's the secretary there, and our website, and just tell them that you want to get involved. There's all kinds of programs, and if you want to be a Wildcat Cub Club member, we'd love to have you. We'll interview you as soon as we possibly can, which usually happens in a matter of days, believe it or not. And then it's just a background check from there.
Okay.
You give us some referrals.
So is a Cub Club member a volunteer?
Yes.
It's the same thing? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have volunteers that don't mentor for Cub Club, but our Cub Club mentors are definitely volunteers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you were talking about the time in the school. So if being a volunteer, you commit to approximately an hour per week
That's right.
per student if you have more than one student. And then how much other time is there involved? Because how is there a training program for your volunteers, or how do you keep your volunteers like up to speed and keep them interested and motivated to keep coming back?
That's a great question. So there's a couple things. Our volunteers are amazing to begin with, so we don't have to motivate them too much. But I would say that excuse me.
It's okay.
Ask me the question one more time again.
About how to keep them motivated
Okay,
and
that's
keep them
right.
coming back and keep them educated and
Right, okay.
and have those tools to
Understood.
keep going forward.
Okay.
That's a long question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I just drew a blank. It's a
That's
senior
okay.
moment. All right. Yes. So to answer that question, we do have a training program. It just takes one day. You come in and you get oriented as a group. That hopefully, I mean, if you can't make it to our group orientation, we will make accommodations for you. But we try to orient as a group. Because one thing about Cub Club is we're going into the schools individually, right? And we're going in at different times, and we're going into different schools. So you're right. How do we stay connected? How do we know that we're fulfilling, what we set out to do? Part of that, Don, is monthly meetings here at the senior center. You guys have been kind enough, you and Ruth have been kind enough to set up the room for us every month so that we can meet and discuss what we're doing with our students. And because we have so many qualified, I mean, we've got one volunteer was a teacher for 45 years and a school administrator. We've got a couple social workers on staff. We've got parapros that we work with. So we've got a lot of ideas. And if some of us lay people that just know kids by working with kids, right, have never been educated to work with kids, we can ask questions from each other and our own share our experiences. So we have those monthly support meetings.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So beside those monthly support meetings, your time, so it's probably about 4 or 5 hours a month?
I would say so. I mean, in the beginning, it takes a little while to know your student, right? So you're trying to figure out how can I interact with this person something that they would enjoy doing, right? So it takes a little bit of time, especially in the beginning of the year, to figure out what am I going to do, what activities.
So it's not just reading and writing and arithmetic.
Right.
The old saying. It's playing different games with them too. Once you find out what they like.
It is.
I thought
Keep
it,
their minds
yeah,
active.
I was thinking it was more like helping them learn to read better.
Well,
Or
in
help
some
them
cases,
learn
we
to-
do that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
true. In
So
some
that's why
cases,
you find out whatever the child needs.
that's true. I mean,
Okay.
this is more of a mentoring program than a tutoring program.
Okay.
However, we do have students that may be concerned about school, right,
Okay.
and have some concerns, and maybe they need a little extra help with math. A couple of our volunteers, I for one, have gone in 2 days a week with certain students to meet with them. So, yeah, that works too, and get
Right.
kids caught up so that they're feeling comfortable, because it's all about them realizing who they are and feeling comfortable in their own skin in these little tiny bodies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's, I love the program.
Yeah, I do too. It's
Yeah.
really good. And what about, can they pick which school they're gonna work at?
Yes,
Or-
they can. So
So-
and so this year, since we were only at OES, and then after the holiday, we started up at Clear Lake. We've got volunteers from all over the community. We've got an 80-some-year-old woman who I just love this. She lives beyond Leonard, a good 15 minutes beyond Leonard, and she makes a half-hour drive in each week to see her student. Now, we will have students at Leonard this year, so hopefully we can find her somebody a little bit closer, but who knows, maybe she's made such a connection with her students, she might want to stay.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
It's going to be a hard decision for her.
it is.
You're
It
talking
is.
about Leonard Elementary?
That's right. We'll be at Leonard
We need-
Elementary, Lakeville Elementary,
Okay.
Daniel Axford, OES, and Clear Lake next year.
So that's what we're trying to get the word out to tell the seniors, that if anybody has some time to help, volunteer, it would be appreciated.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And if you find yourself at 27 having a little extra time in your week and you want to volunteer,
yeah.
come and join us too.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
All right, and to connect with Ben or Stacy, or just more general information about Wildcat Cub Club or just Oxford Addison Youth Association, you can contact them at 248-460-7011. If you want to do a little research and find out, through their website, what all programs they have and what they're doing in our community, it's oxfordaddisonya.org. So be sure to check those out. And to kind of wrap things up, what key qualities do you look for in your in your mentors, your volunteers that come in? Are there any key things that you're looking for? Because you said you do an interview, so.
That's right. So our interviews have been amazing. We're looking for people that are kind, good listeners, compassionate, and just want to have a good time with the kid. And also, what a great growing community we are, the Wildcat Cub Club. Our volunteers are amazing. You might make some long-term friends.
All right, so right now you have how many volunteers?
Right now, we have 14 active volunteers,
Okay.
and we're hoping to reach 25. So
25.
That's our goal. We'd love to have 5 volunteers in each school. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
When did this program start?
Just this year.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows a real interest for people helping people.
Right. And it's amazing that the school district sees value in it, that you're able to expand. So,
And absolutely. I can't thank Jeff Brown enough for giving us the opportunity. We kind of threw it out there to all the schools, and he was the one that replied first. And what a great culture they have in that school.
Right.
And we are so welcome there. I thought schools nowadays with the metal detectors and the locked doors, it's not like school when we were kids. But in so many ways, it's better. I mean, there's just so many more things for the kids, resource people and that kind of thing in the school. It's wonderful to see when you go in.
yes.
And he gave us a great opportunity to make a difference. And I just can't wait to be in all 5 schools next year. I'm so looking forward to it.
And kids are on the computers and the phones so much, it's really good to have contact with a human being
Yes, yes, it is.
to talk to rather than look it up on your
Right.
phone.
Well, Ben, thank you for what you're
Thank you
doing for
very
our
much.
youth and
Thank
our volunteers, our mentors in our community. And congratulations that this is just, expanding and getting
Yes.
bigger and better. So all the best in the coming years, and we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, we'll let people know to call you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you both so much. I
you're
really
welcome.
appreciate the chance to be able to talk about this program that I love so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right. So we'll see you next senior break.
Bye-bye.
Bye.